Are you excited for the spring weather? I am feeling it. The birds are chirping. I am ready. The warm weather is coming. It's coming here a lot quicker than before. It has already been 80 degrees in April. Because it is spring and we're talking about decluttering, I found an article regarding 5 ways to spring clean your finances. If you're not familiar with Money Article Monday, what I do is find an interesting article or a blog and we chat about it. So today we're going to talk about 5 ways to spring clean your finances. This article is from Wes Moss. I think he has a podcast as well, and he also has a website. He is big into retirement information. That's usually what you can look to his site for, but definitely check him out. And as always, I'm going to have the article linked down below. Wes wrote this on May 3rd, or at least posted it on May 3rd of 2019. So with the freshness of the spring in the air, many of us set about getting our houses in order. And as you know, April, I have decided to do a whole decluttering series. So I've got videos already for April on decluttering, and I've got some great ones coming out this week that you guys have been asking for. So Wes says, as you are going about sprucing up your home, consider tidying up your financial house too. I think it is a good time to look at certain things in your finances. I like to check in every quarter, at least every first, second, third, and fourth quarter, to make sure we're kind of on track. Now, in our household, we do a bigger check-in every 6 months, so January 1st and then July 1st is when we do our big check-ins financially. Wes has 5 steps to take if you want to declutter and spring clean your finances. The first is organization is key. He says, if someone asked you to find your 2012 tax returns, could you do it? I don't think I could. My husband keeps track of those tax returns. That's not my cup of care about type of a thing. He says you certainly can't keep track of the details of your financial life if you can't find those details. That's very true. Knowing where you can stand in terms of taxes, credit cards, and your credit report is valuable information. He says this tip may sound obvious, but getting organized is absolutely critical to managing your finances. Number 2, actively manage investments, insurance, and once again, your credit report. Let's face it, insurance policies can be boring. Yes, if you're in the insurance industry, I praise you. You are a special person to be able to enjoy looking through all of those things. It takes a great person to be able to do that and to explain that stuff to people. He says, who wants to spend one more second than necessary reviewing their details of coverage? The same is often true about investment accounts or company benefits. That is also for me. I did a video on our 401k, the real numbers. I'll link that right up here. My husband loves it. So that is great. The fact that my husband loves looking at all of that kind of stuff, making sure we're in the right portfolio or whatever it may be. He enjoys that. Wes talks about something I have talked about in regards to like your insurance policies and such. Life changes. Your needs change. So update insurance policies as necessary to make sure you have the right amount of coverage. The same is true with your 401k investments. You may watch that video on my retirement and see where you are and have to make adjustments based on where you are now and where you actually think you might need to be when you do retire. Maybe also consider adding more to your retirement, taking your retirement from 8% maybe to 10%. Are you going to see that big of a difference if you take it up 2%? You may not see a big difference in your monthly or weekly paycheck, but it could add up to a big amount when retirement does come around. He says, finally, do a deep dive into your credit report. Now, we freeze our credit, so unless when we refinance this house, we unfroze it for that amount of time, but we still will go in and check just to make sure there's nothing funny on the credit report. He says, even if you have a stellar credit or aren't worried about credit at all, a good rule of thumb is to review your report annually to make sure everything is correct. I think that we review it on January 1st or July 1st. So we have a set date that we do and we put it in our Google Calendar. But maybe if you have never done it before, maybe May 1st will be the day that you do it annually. The third is to do a financial temperature check. An old saying reminds us that we can't know where we're going if we don't know where we are. That is very true. That's also the same with budgeting. You don't know where your money's going if you don't know where it went, right? With this in mind, you know your financial picture inside and out. The most prudent among us understand everything from the long-term plan an outlook down to the minute details. If this sounds daunting, start with the basics, such as creating a budget. Creating a budget is probably the easiest way to see where you are and the most impactful to your money situation personally. That's what my opinion. Use a system to track your spending to ensure that you're living within your means. Most people are not living within their means. Your perfect budgeting system is one that makes sense to you and that you stick with. I tried out every budget app and every budget system under the sun, honestly, and put together my own budget. And I do a modified monthly paycheck to paycheck and one envelope system. So, and I'll link that here as well so that you can check that out. But it's very different, but it is one that works for me. It might work for you, or maybe you can take some tips from that video. But creating a budget that works for you, that you will continually do. If it's annoying to you or you don't like it and you don't like to track your expenses a certain way, let's say in an app, which I just don't. I don't like to track my expenses in an app. Then you're not going to do it. So you've got to find something that interests you, and there are many different types of budgeting out there that you can look into. Wes says, once you've covered the details, it's time to look at the big picture. Check in on your net worth. This one is fun. Now, how do you check your net worth? It is your assets minus your liabilities. So one thing that some people use cars as assets. I don't, because they are a depreciating value. So I don't really see that they are an asset, but an asset would be your 401k, the equity in your home. Okay. So let's say your home is worth $400,000. That is your asset. That would go on the asset column. And then what you'll do is subtract your liabilities. Your liability, let's say your mortgage is $200,000. So let's say all you have is your house. You don't have a 401k or anything. So you have $400,000 house and you have a mortgage on it. It's worth $400,000 and you have a mortgage of $200,000. So if you took the $400,000 minus the $200,000, then your net worth would be $200,000. That's a very simplified way, but hopefully it'll give you a better understanding of how to establish your net worth. Now, if you have a negative net worth, that will give you a very good picture of where you are financially so that you can hopefully turn that around. The fourth one is to come back to your financial goals and circumstances. Our financial objectives and situations can change over the course of a year. Yes, things change. Years happen. 2020 happened, and I think a lot of people are waking up to their financial situation, are waking up from consumerism, are waking up to realize that they don't have enough in savings, that they don't have enough for retirement. I think it was a rude awakening for some people. So checking to make sure you are still on track to reach those financial goals. Are those financial goals still your goals? Let's say you had wanted to buy a house in the year of 2022, and now you're just outpriced out of the market. Well, you need to change that financial goal. If you are off track, that is okay. To get back on path, get smart about updating your goals. When you do this, make sure that they are SMART. I love this, however you say this acronym. Make sure your goals are SMART, meaning they are specific, they are measurable, they are actionable, they are realistic, and they are timely, meaning they have a deadline. If your goals don't meet these criteria, that means you could have a heck of a time reaching them. So reconsider your path forward if necessary. Number 5, trim the financial fat. Have you ever heard of the lifestyle inflation? I like to call it lifestyle creep. This is what happens when your wants make their way into your needs category. Like, I want to go get my nails done, and now I need to go get my nails done. Most of us will fall into this trap at some point or another in our lives. Remembering the difference between luxury and what you really need to live a comfortable and happy life is key to living within your means. He goes on to end the article saying, it feels so good to deep clean your home and to get things in order. How good does it feel to get things clean? I love a good clean, decluttered, organized home. It's almost like when you come home and your bed's made perfectly and it's brand like you just changed the sheets. That feeling when you get into the bed, that it's just a reduced stress. It's just clean and nice and airy. Well, getting your financial house in order, you would believe the bricks and the stress it takes off your shoulders. Now remember, I was in debt. I was in a very bad way in my early 20s as far as I was broken, I was in debt. I was not in a good place as far as financially or with my habits with money. So I've been there, and seeing the difference between what I was then and what I feel now, the difference in just how you feel and how you are not stressed and how confident you are is a world of difference. So that is it for this article. I hope you enjoyed it. I will link it down below if you want to read it in its entirety. Also check out his site because he has a lot of information on retirement and investing that you might be interested in. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.